Good Monday to you. It's Tone to Bone. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. Hope you're well rested. We've got a monster week going on here with Tony Kurre Radio. We'll talk about that, and I'll share some personal stuff. I'm sitting here watching the Queen's funeral as she rests in peace. I just posted something on Twitter, and I think it was on Facebook too, where they did a picture by picture. There's 95 pictures of her as a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, or 5-year-old, and it's the coolest thing I've ever seen. So go to at Tony Kurre Radio on Twitter, and you can see the video. It takes about 10 seconds to watch, but it's pretty crazy how she's changed from the age of 1 all the way to 95. But thoughts and prayers go out to, of course, the royal family and everyone been part of that. And this thing's been going on for a couple of weeks, as it should. And it's interesting because, you know, people are kind of grasping for things now to talk about. They're talking about William and Harry and the rest of the family and this, that, and the other. Something I thought was really cool is if you watched earlier this morning, you saw King Charles III actually shed a tear, which I love, you know. Growing up, I never saw my dad cry, ever. People in authority, your fathers, we just didn't have that in our generation. And the first time I saw my dad cry was when his best friend passed away. His name was Pi van der Haar. And it was really like a moment that I'll never forget. And I love my dad even more after I saw that moment. So, like, you know, we're not supposed to see people of authority. You never see John Wayne cry in a movie. You never see Clint Eastwood cry. You never saw your dad cry. And you're certainly not supposed to see people of high power and rank into areas like President of the United States cry, or in this particular case, King Charles. And I just thought it really humanized him, man. I thought it was great. I think it's good. Maybe it's because I'm a father now, I'm a little older, and you realize just how delicate and how wonderful life is, and that you need to hold on to every bit of it and take every day and make the most you can, be the best version of yourself. I just think it's wonderful. Andy Moore, good morning to you. So kudos to people like, we shouldn't see the king cry. Why not? He's a human being, man. For gosh sakes, you know? Anyway, great stuff there. Also, we've got some monster shows coming up. There's these 3 guys who are going to be doing a show with me today. And I'll talk about that in a second. But actual shows on stage. I've been talking about Workplay. Great show last night with McKee. Did a gig at Workplay. We have a Halloween night unlike any Halloween night you've ever seen. Paranormal illusionist, a good friend of mine, David Merlin, who's been on, he's been with David Copperfield. He's been on Penn and Teller. He's been on AGT. He's been everywhere. This guy's really, really good. He lives here in the state of Alabama. He's a good friend of mine. He's going to be doing a show in Workplay. It's on workplay.com. It's going to be a Halloween night unlike any Halloween night you've ever seen. Make sure you check it out. It doesn't actually fall on Halloween, so check it out at Workplay and workplay.com. Now, speaking of shows, something I've done here is when I started Tony Kurre Radio about 3 years ago, I picked about 600 classic rock songs. I didn't play the same stuff you'll hear over and over and over again. For the tens of thousands of you who have already downloaded the TKR app, Tony Kurre Radio app, through Android or Apple, you understand. Everyone that gets on my radio station goes, dude, I'm hearing classic rock I haven't heard in years. Thank you. They used to call it deep cut weekends. We don't play like deep cuts because, you know, we're sprinkling them in. That's what we do. And they're songs that you know. Yeah, you're going to hear some common songs too, but for the most part, we kind of stay away from the, Freebirds, Stairway to Heavens. You can hear those anywhere. I want to play stuff you don't get a chance to hear very often, and that's why every single person who's listened to my radio station has given it 5 stars. It's fantastic. So after I did that, I realized that you need classic rock anywhere. We do set the table for you. Trina and Adler, good morning to you. We set the table for you. Yeah, it's easy. You could go and put together your own set list and hear it over and over and over again. But why not sit at my table and I have the whole thing set up for you and you can just listen for days, hours, years and not hear the same song twice. It's killer. But I also realized that the only way we're going to be super successful is to have unique programming. So when Dusty Hill passed away a little over a year ago, I reached out to Austin Hanks out in San Bernardino. He lives out in California, and he plays in the Big Bad Blues Band with Billy F. Gibbons, and he started doing Blues Almighty. It's a great blues show. It airs every single day of the week here on Tony Kurre Radio. Then I reached out to Damon Johnson, who had just started playing guitar for Leonard Skinner. Now, of course, he's going back on the road to celebrate the 30th anniversary release of the first Brother Kane album. He does a show with us. We have a show called When in Rome with Stuart Rum, the Woodhouse Day Spa, where he picks music, plays his favorite music all this week. It is his favorite Queen songs, which is perfect, obviously, with the resting in peace of Queen Elizabeth II. He picks some great Queen songs. Let him pick whatever he wants. He can play whatever he wants. It's fantastic. We have Adapter Parish with Dr. Alex Hubline and Dr. Josh Claypo. We have a show called Mission Minded with Michael Coleman. He's from the Montgomery Food Bank. They cover 35 counties in our state. We like to give back and recognize that. We have a wonderful show that's just great called Need to Know with Kip Kiefer. He's actually got 2 shows on our radio station. Need to Know, it's a 30-minute show. He talks about whatever he wants. It's one of our most podcasted shows. And also Want to Bet, where he gives you free picks. We do that live from Las Vegas. We have Live Wire Wednesday, which is a whole hour dedicated to AC/DC that we do every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Central. Just some great shows that we do. So I had this intern friend of mine when I was working with the Jay Barker Radio Network, and I'm on his network twice a week. His name's Alex Bowen. And he said, I want to do a show on your radio station. I said, okay. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah. I mean, if you got a good show, we got 168 hours to fill, brother. Let's go. Teresa Potterwick, good morning to you. I'm like, let's go. Let's do a show. So Alex, along with Gray and Matthew, are going to record their first show, and it's great. It's called Students of the Game. They love to talk about college football. And I'm like, you know what? We got all these yappers, these knuckleheads that played the game, that don't know what they're talking about. You got guys that didn't play the game, don't know what they're talking about when they don't. I said, man, we got so many people talking about classic rock and college football. Why not? We combine the two. Why don't you do a show on Tony Kurre Radio? So they're going to record their first show today. It's called Students of the Game. And all 3 guys are in college. And they're going to call the Alabama game, the Auburn game, the UAB football game, other college football games they've seen the way they see it, which I absolutely love. It gets an 18, 19, 20-year-old views on college football. So looking forward to having that show starting here. We also have several other shows that we're, I'm totally transparent with you. We are going through an entire software upgrade of TKR and Tony Kurre Radio. And it's going to be just super, super cool and super, super efficient. It's going to allow you to do more things on our TKR app. Certainly a lot of people watching on their computers at work. We see that as well, and it's fine. But it's going to make it a lot easier. Our website's going to be better. Everything's going to be super. It's time to upgrade, and we're syncing everything we got into this, so it's going to be super awesome. So I hope you'll see the difference and hear the difference coming up in the next few days, so check that out. Of course, we couldn't do without our great sponsors. We mentioned Live Wire Wednesday with Southern Precision Staffing, 205-682-2828. We got Driscoll Gray, our good friends from Budweiser, Adams Beverages. They're wonderful. They've been on with us for a long period of time. The Woodhouse Day Spa, birmingham.woodhousespas.com, the Montgomery Food Bank, the Jimmy Hill Mission. I could go on and on and on. And recently we picked up Coosa Valley Auto Sale. I had never had a car dealer on my radio station because, quite frankly, I like to use and I want to believe in every client I have on the radio station. If I talk or endorse a product and you don't like it, that makes me look bad. It makes my station look bad. So I want to make sure it's the real deal. And Coosa Valley Auto Sale is the real deal. Up in Sylacauga, they only do used cars. They call them Easter eggs. They come on their lot, and usually within 2 or 3 days, they're gone. I mean, they turn over really quick. But at any given time, you get 40 to 50 different vehicles you can check out. And if the vehicle is not of your liking on that particular lot, give it a day, and it will be. It's great. They do a wonderful job. Al Cooper, Brad, and the entire crew up there do a wonderful job. Go to CoosaValleyAutoSale.com, CoosaValleyAutoSale.com. They open here in a couple hours. You can give them a call, and they'll help you out. So check it out. Big birthdays this week. Lita Ford. Lita Ford ain't looking like the Lita Ford we remember, but she's 64 today. Also, Don Felder has a birthday this week. Joan Jett has a birthday this week. And Bruce Springsteen has a birthday a little bit later on this week as well. Andy Morgan said Al is a nice guy. He is a nice guy. He's a texter, man. He texts me like 15, 17 times a day, and I love it. It's great. I hope you have a fantastic week. We will be totally transparent with you what's going on with the radio station, how big we're getting. We want to do radio unlike any radio station you ever had. I want to be not only community-based, but I want to be in touch with you, find out what you want. And for gosh sakes, check out the TKR app and listen to all of our fantastic shows, all these unique shows. I think we got like 13, 14 shows now, and we're adding more shows almost on a weekly basis, and we'll continue to do that. And tell all your friends and family to listen to the TKR app. And then in between, we just have great classic rock and roll the rest of the time. So it's fantastic. So check it out, the TKR app. And by the way, all of our shows, every one of our shows are on podcast. Every single show, even the ones with music. You're like, well, how do you do that? If you go to Spotify, you can check out our shows that have music on them. It's the only podcast platform out there where you can actually play music on it. We love that. They actually reached out to us because they love our programming. And every other podcast, search Tony Kurre Radio Podcast. It's Kurre with a K, Tony Kurre Radio Podcast. You can hear all. Ted Fidakis, good morning to you, man. It's been a long time, Ted. Long time since we talked. Check it out, and I think you're going to love all the unique programming we have on there. There's great graphics. The show content is fantastic. You'll find something you love on Tony Kurre Radio Podcast. We're on every major indice. So wherever you listen to your podcast, you will find us. Have yourself a great and blessed day. I love you. Thank you for watching every single morning. Thank you for listening every single day. And I hope you have a fantastic day, and I love you. Mwah.